morning. Welcome to day 12 of the 100 Day Project. This is day 11. Video is up. You're welcome to go watch it. So let me show you what we're going to do today. I came in and I was looking through the papers that I did yesterday and some of the papers laying on my desk over there on the other side of the room. And sometimes what I see inspires me to do something else. So I was looking at these and I was thinking, I love these painty paper looking papers. And I could use these to create with, but the making of these papers is part of the fun. I love that part of it. I was looking at making some tags and maybe making a tag book. So I went to one of the drawers I have over there and I ran across these little books that I have had for years. I'm talking back when I first even found out about scrapbook stuff. They are the Rusty Pickle, I think was the name of the company. This actually is a book of tags. It's already bound in there and I thought, oh, that'd be perfect. And I found this little one here that's just little papers, maybe 4x4. I thought that would be fun to fill up with all kinds of scrappy painty papers. Just make it chunky and bulky and pretty. And then I thought, well, I'll go through my painty papers in my tote over there and pull out things I want to work with. And then I said, I think I want to make some papers to use in these books. So I have these here in case I want to continue adding to them, but I like them the way they are. So I don't know, I may not touch these. I may just keep them as inspiration papers. And then I have some papers I pulled out of my tote that could be finished or added to that would continue on my journey toward filling these books. And I picked papers on purpose that were very fine and very thin. This is just something torn out of a flyer. This is just deli paper. This is newsprint. And this is an old scrapbook piece of paper. These are off to the side just in case I get inspired to bring something I've already got started in and work on. But what I really want to do is start fresh with a blank sheet of paper. The paper I pulled out to use is this cheap paper I get at the grocery store. It's called Draw, but it's by You Create, and it's heavyweight paper, but it's not heavy. It's not like a heavy cardstock. It's very workable, very fluid, but it's not so thin like a copy paper. So this will hold up to more than an actual sheet of copy paper, but it won't hold up to as much as like a cardstock or a watercolor paper. But I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at it and see how much it actually will hold up under, because I want to use acrylic paint, I want to use inks, I want to use my oil pastels, I want to use markers, I want to use distress inks, I want to use watercolors. All that may not go on the same piece, but it might. I want to use pencil, watercolor pencil, my woodies, whatever else I can get my hands on, because I want it to be a bunch of layers of color and scribbles. And I might even pull out some stamps. We're just going to get started and we're just going to play, and we're not going to care where this goes. It's going to wind up beautiful no matter what happens. Right? Right. Okay. And then once that's done, we're going to start doing pages in these little books here, this little tag book. And maybe in this one, I've got this one just in case I want to use it, but definitely in this one that's already prepared for us. I didn't even have to make it. I thought I was going to have to make one. If you don't have this, just get a bunch of your own tags, manila tags like this, or get some boxes like out of your kitchen that you're going to throw away, like cereal boxes or anything like that, and break them down, tear them apart, and then just cut your shapes out of your boxes, make your own tags, put your little hole in the top, and you're good to go. And you can always bind your own tags later. You can use this method if you want, but you could just put holes at the end, 2 holes here, and just ribbon them together. Or you could take another book, like, let me get it, hold on. Okay, I wasn't planning on showing this or using this today, but I'll show you an example. This is just a box, okay, that I flattened down to use for later, but I already had another one that I cut down and I tore all the edges off. It created this shape, but with an opening, okay? So pretend it's like this. But then what I did was I cut the side in half and then trimmed that down and then layered it in each other like this and created my little booklet. So it's thinner, so it's not so thick. You could keep it thick if you wanted to. And then you could take your tags and you could create a little accordion piece that you glue in here, that you stick your little tag in and glue in and have several tags in a row. You could cut this shorter so that it's not so long. So you could do your own thing. I've got some blue paint, green and pinkish magenta. That's what it's called. Just colors that were handy near me in my cart. They're gonna be covered, they're gonna be layered. I mainly wanted to get started just getting some paint down on my paper and get started. I've got a little spreading tool here and an old key card to spread. I've got a brush, my water's nearby, and we're just gonna start. And I will stop and tell you if something's important, but otherwise I'm just gonna be putting down paint, probably put some stenciling down, some inks and things like that, and I'll tell you what I'm using each time I change. Okay, so let's get started. I don't care about the gummy stuff that's coming out of the bottle. You can probably see it on the paper here. I don't care. This is gonna add to it if it stays. I want to bring something else in on top of this, and I want it dry before I do that. So I'm going to dry this, and this was a hot mess here. I like that one, but oh boy, this one, It'll turn out okay though. I have faith. Okay, dried them enough, and I've got some distress ink sitting here that I want to play with, but I don't know if it'll show up on this very well, so we're going to just test it out. And it's a little earlier than I thought it would be, bringing in some stencils, but that's what we're gonna do. The one I'm gonna use first is this one. It is called Oriental by Kaisercraft. And I also have this one, which I used the other day, and I didn't know the name of it because I couldn't find my sheet, but now I found the sheet. So it's mini striped leaves. And while we're at it, I'll just tell you what else I have here. Got this one, there's no name, it's just plaid folk art, and it's number 30604. And then this one is a Balzer Designs, and it's called Mini Stick Flowers. Okay, so I'm gonna start with these two. I'm just gonna play with them and see what happens. So we're gonna go for it. And I actually like this now that it's dry. It's kind of cool, it's psychedelic looking. Okay, I'm just gonna put down some distress ink through this stencil in sporadic places and see if it shows up. It's almost like it's clogged. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. I will not be defeated. I'm just gonna open the top here. I'm gonna get a scruffy-ish kind of brush. Stick the brush inside there. And I'm just gonna scrubby it on. And I don't care if it's neat because this is not gonna stay the way it is. This is just a layer. I love that. There's some gaps in there, but it's okay. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to get you a visual. See, there's some in there. You can see. All right, this is just a layer. It's just for fun, just to play. And this is a way to learn your supplies too. You can figure out if you like something or if you don't like something by just playing. Whether you see it or not later on is irrelevant. Unless you really want to see it, it doesn't matter. If you really want to see it, then you work it out to where you can see it. But that's not the goal here. Okay, I'm going to get another color for this one. Okay, I have switched over to this stencil. I kind of want big bold marks on this one, even though it is going to get covered up. I can guarantee you. We might see a little bit of it, but not much. I've got these greens. I'm going to try the forest moss first. Just use part of the stencil, don't have to use all of it. I'm gonna dry these for a little bit. Okay, dry enough, dry-ish. They're not all completely dry. And a side note, when I was putting the cap back on the distress ink that I used, that was the green color on this one, the ball that's inside the bottle that it mixes the paint as you shake it, fell out onto here, so I just spread it around on the paper and it's no big deal. This next step, I paint, now I'm gonna push it back. And some of y'all don't like this step, but this is what I feel the need to do next. So what I'm gonna do is take some gesso, and this is the gesso I like to use when I want it to kind of show through a little bit. I don't want to cover it completely white. It's an Artist Loft because it's just a cheaper one. It doesn't cover as well. So I like using it for stuff like this. I know some of y'all don't like it, but this is just how it has to be. So just be brave. We'll make it through. We'll come out the other end okay. I promise. All right, I'm just gonna take my card and stick it in here, and I'm just gonna start swiping it on here and there. I'll let this dry for a second while I do this one. This one's hard for me to do because I like this better, but I'm gonna do it anyway. All right, I'm gonna dry this a little bit. Actually, I wanna push this back a little bit more because I'm gonna bring in watercolor next, I think. Okay, y'all have seen this before. It's just my cheap set of kids watercolor. I'm gonna use that and just start putting some down here and see what we get. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not loving the watercolors. So probably what I'll do, let this dry, and then we'll come in with the next step. That'll be all right. All right, I'm gonna dry this. I'll be right back. I'm not working on this one right now because I actually like where it's at. So I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit longer until the next step. But this one, we're working toward our happy place, and we are not there yet. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna bring in another stencil, the Oriental one. I'm just gonna bring in some of this metallic color here. It's a crimson red, not that it matters, just use what you like. This time I'm gonna use a sponge to put it on. And I'm just gonna use this side of it. It's got two sides, I'm gonna use this side. I like that a lot better. And you're still seeing some of the background. So we're gonna stop at this point and let this dry. Okay, here's what I wanna do next. I'm bringing this stencil in. I already told you what it was, but I'll tell you again, mini stick flowers. And I'm going to use this dark titanium white because I really wanna tone this down and I haven't got there yet. So I'm gonna use that on here, and who knows what we're gonna get, but we're gonna keep going, like I said, until I'm happy. If I finally get to the point where I give up thinking I can recover from it, then I'll let you know, but I think we can recover. We haven't even got to the next step. This was like the stopping point. We're gonna go to the next phase, but I can't get this sucker here where I want it. So we're just gonna keep going. Hang in there with me. And I am leaving some areas with color showing through because I don't need to cover all of it. But I am much happier with that. Knowing that this isn't the last stop. It's just helping me get where I need to go, that's all. I am very happy with that. Look at all the beautiful colors coming through that we've put down so far. All right, I'm gonna dry this. This one here is still drying a little bit, but it has surpassed this one in my mind. I really love this. I'm surprised, but I really love this. And this one is still pretty, but I'm ready to move on with this one. I'm gonna let this dry a little bit more. What I wanna do with this one is just take my pencil and I'm just gonna scribble on here and make some funky doodles. I'm gonna fill in some of these doodles with some India ink and some acrylic paint. All right, I'm gonna give this paper a break and let it dry some, and then we will start working on this one here. On this paper, I'm gonna cut out some circles of my book page here, and we're gonna glue those down. So I'm gonna get a few of these cut out and I'll come back after these are glued on the page. All right, I've got my little circles glued on. I'm gonna take my Stabilo All, and it's black and it is water soluble. So I'm just gonna go around all my circles, and then I'm gonna take a paintbrush with water and just activate it. If you wanna preserve your activated circles, then maybe activate yours with matte medium, which is this. This is a Liquitex brand. You could use any brand, or a clear gesso. You could just go over it with your brush and it'll be sealed. All right, what I want to do next is bring in some stamps, and these are some stamps that I have carved, and I'm going to play with this one and these three here, and I'll give you a quick look at the ones I've carved just so you can see what they look like. There's this squiggly one, this one, all these here, a rabbit, some odd shapes, my L, some flowers. This is just my test pages. And that's what this will look like. Okay, so I'm gonna take some ink. So I've got some black, some brown, and some olive green StazOn ink. And I'm gonna start with the green, and I'm going to stamp a few of these leaves. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. I think I like it, just like that. I'm gonna take my Posca pen. This one's the white one. It's the larger of the two. There's a thin one and a thicker one. This one's the thicker one. And I'm just gonna go around some of my shapes here. Okay, we gotta wait on those. So we can't do any more on this one yet until it dries some more. Let's bring this one back. I brought in some colors, and I want to bring in those colors into some circles on here. And I'm gonna find the circles of that stencil that I used, that stick flowery stencil, and I'm just gonna bring out those little shapes. These little circles here, I'm kind of bringing those out. I think today will be part one of just creating the papers. And then tomorrow we'll take these papers and we'll create a page. And then throughout the 100 days, we'll have to create more papers to make more pages. Okay, these are dry. I just got back from lunch and I am loving these. I especially love this one. The one I started off not loving as much, I love the most. This one I still love, but it still needs some work. And this one needs some work too. But what I'm gonna do is take my Posca pen, finish doing my doodles on this one, and then on this one I'm gonna go back and take some more of my little circles here and maybe put some more in this area so that when I cut the paper up I'll have some of this in all the areas. So what I've done here on this one is just add a few more of these little circles, and I've got a few in reserve so that when we start cutting up this paper and using it, if I need some, I have some. I've gone ahead and gone around them with my Stabilo All, like you saw me do on the other ones. The only other thing I'm going to do to this one is take my Posca pen and just going to put little dots. Okay, so I think we might stop on these. If we do more, it'll be after we cut them. Here's one of the books we're going to work in tomorrow. So get your tags ready, or get your little 4x4s or cardstock or whatever you want to play with. I don't know if we'll work on this one, but we're definitely going to work on this one. Now, this isn't all the papers we're going to be making for this little series. I think we're going to have to make some more because I don't want my whole book to be just this paper. Really, we should probably make more paper before we do this, because then I could pick and choose and kind of assemble little collages and stuff. I don't know, but tomorrow will be another day and we'll do some more, and I'll let you know what we're going to do in the morning. Okay, give you a close-up look real quick. I love the backgrounds. This is not my favorite anymore, but it will be cute once it's cut apart. This one is definitely my favorite. This is really pretty. All right, so I'll see you in the morning. Get your stuff ready. Bye-bye.